Okay, hello. This week we are doing inequalities stuff, so without further ado, let's just fucking do it. And there's a graph that I need to draw. Okay, so first we just like when we're like trying to find the domains and stuff and like all the other problems we've been doing, we just solve for x. These are already simplified as much as they can be. So, hold on, let me turn that down before it gets 2. So, to remember what we're looking for, I always like to write down this really large so I don't forget what sign I need to be paying attention to. Okay, so we solved, we got 2 and -1. So now to solve this, we have to check our different ranges. Not ranges, that's a math word. I shouldn't use math words. Our different areas. So we'll be looking from -infinity to -1, and then that's -2. So this, where this line is -1. So it has an asymptote at -1. Then from -1 to 2, and then 2 to infinity. And every day Okay, so those are our sections we're going to be checking. So you go from -infinity to -1, -1 to 2, and 2 to infinity. Now, because we have a graph, we don't actually have to use any test points, because we can just look at the graph. Where the heck? Clear. Okay, so when you look at a graph, and you're looking at the range, everything up here is positive, right? And everything down here is negative. So let's do more highlighting. I use my highlighters in real life a lot for this stuff. So everything that's positive I'll do in lilac, lavender, whatever you want to call it. Then everything that's negative I'll do in red. So now looking at this, if we go from negative infinity to -1, which is right here, and we look in this entire section, is it negative or positive? Well, this is the only thing there, so it's positive. And then -1 to 2, there's literally no lines. There's nothing, okay? I know we have the... What's the plural of axis? Axes? I know we have these, but we're not looking at those. We're looking at the lines that we have here. And we don't include the asymptote because that's not a line, it's an asymptote. So from -1 to 2, from here to here, it's negative, right? Yeah. Because this is negative. And then from 2 to infinity, which is this, it's positive. So now with this information, what we do is we look at the sign that we're trying to find for. And so it's greater than or equal to. So that would be everything. With problems like this, anything that's greater than or greater than equal to is positive. Anything that's less than or equal to is negative. Okay? So we're looking for greater than or equal to. So we're going to use these. And we're going to kill her. So the answer, because it wants you to give, what does it say? Does it say the domain? I can't even remember what it asks. Does it just say to solve? I don't remember. Anyways, the answer starts off like this. But because this is greater than or equal to, leak that to me. I recommend it to me by some people. She got hit with the music beam and got distracted. Okay. Ooh, I feel so good. I just got a text message. Hold on. So when it's greater than, less than, or equal to, you're going to include some of the values, okay? And when it's not equal to, you're just going to be using parentheses. So, but this is also a fraction. So we know that fractions can't be 0 on the bottom. So this value has to be excluded. So, there's so much happening. What is it? Negative infinity to -1. So that's going to be a parentheses, even though this is greater than or equal to. And then the 2 is fine. So that will be in that guy. I don't know what this is called. And so this is our answer. Hey, ooh, both of us. Okay, give me 1 second. Somebody needs my help because everybody always needs my help, and I'll be right back. Okay. So those are the graph ones. Basically, they give you, I know I shouldn't be focusing on these too much because we only have like 5 homework questions on problems like these, but basically, they give you a graph and they're like, tell us what sections, based on the function that they give you. Reading my notes, and they are hard to read. What does that even say? Okay, the graph is not gonna look good, like usual, so don't at me, okay? Okay, so get a graph looking like this, and then you'll have a function. This is a big ass function, what the frick? But because we have the graph, we don't need to pay attention to this at all. We only need to pay attention to this. So we do what I said, so we don't forget what we're looking for. The sign is the most important part, okay? Because it tells you whether you want positive or negative sets. So then we highlight. We know that up here is positive and down here is negative. So actually I'm going to change my colors. We'll do green for positive and red for negative. Okay. Make my life a little easier by moving the pen closer. So then you just look at what's there. So our sections are negative infinity to negative 6, negative 6 to negative 1/5, negative 1/5 to 2, and 2 to infinity. And I got that literally just by looking. Let me see if I can. So we start looking from this side, like I always say, start over here when you're looking at shit. This is one section. This is one section. This is one section. And this is a section. So we're just following along this line and testing each section, okay? For right now. So, because we have a graph, we don't actually have to use any test points. We can just look at the graph. So, negative infinity to negative 6 is negative. Negative 6 to negative 1/5 is positive. Negative 1/5 to 2 is negative, and 2 to infinity is positive. Now we have greater than or equal to, so we're going to use these guys. Kill these guys. But because it's greater than or equal to, we're going to be using these. And since it's not a fraction, we don't have to worry about excluding anything. So Does that sound like fun to you? That's the answer. I hate it. So when you have the graph, it's a lot easier. Now we're gonna do what it looks like when you don't have the graph. Okay, we're gonna do one that looks a little scary, but I promise it's not. Does that sound like fun to you? But I hate it. I hate it. Okay, step number 1 is factoring. So, what adds to -3 and multiplies to -10? So you just go through your multiplications of 10. Oh, look. We have found the correct numbers, and then we get King Box, as I like to call it. Don't forget your X's in the box. Go down this way, see what you have in common. And then you go this way, see what you have in common. There's a negative in front, so we're going to pull the negative out. Then you check by foiling. -2x plus 5x is +3x. Uh-oh. And 5 times -2 is -10. So we fucked up somewhere. We put the negative on the wrong number. It's okay, we're tired and we make small mistakes. Please have another person. Let's try this again. I want it to be mine. Okay, we have foiled correctly. Tried and I've tried and I've tried and I've tried. You and me, no goodbye. Here we go. In my pictures, it's time. Adds to -8, multiplies to +12. No! Uh-oh. I might have to cut this video very short. Why it's gotta be your way? I want it to be mine. Ball play. Ignore it. Tried and I've tried and I've tried and I've tried. Goodbye. I'm just checking it by foiling. have FOILed correctly. So our new function, or our simplified function, looks like this. So if we set all these equal to 0, what are they equal? Okay, these are on the bottom of our fraction, so we have to exclude them because they would equal 0. So now we don't have a graph, so we have to figure out these sections ourselves. And you just pretend like you have a number line, and you go from the lowest value up to the highest value. So the lowest is always negative infinity. The lowest out of these 4 values is -2. And then you just go up, okay? So if -2 is here, let's add a 0, and then we've got 2, 5, and 6. So then we go from -2 to 2, 2 to 5, 5 to 6. This is a lot. 6 to infinity. Now we have to test all of these because we don't have a graph. So we pick, I shouldn't have erased that. So we pick numbers that are in our sections, okay? And they have to be in between. So like we can't pick -2. So let's do -3. I'm just a man. -2 and 2. 0, because that's easy. Back at home, my wife awaits for me. She's my everything, my Penelope, and she's all my power, all my... Okay, so when you've got two numbers that are literally right next to each other, you just hit them with a 0.5, okay? Because you can't do 5 or 6. It has to be in between, in my experience. Okay. So we test these by putting them into our simplified function. So here's what that would look like. I'm not going to write this out every time, but I'll show you what it looks like. Okay. Then you make sure that it can't be simplified any further. It cannot. So this is our answer for the top. You don't super need to give a shit about the value you get. You just need to see whether it's positive or negative. It's positive. So what that means is this value is greater than 0, okay? So what that means is that this whole section, negative infinity to -2, is greater than 0, so it's positive. So we're just going to do that for every section. So we're doing 0, 0, Here's all to the angels, drawing circles in the clouds. Keep in mind all the distance from the devil. Hold me in your arms tonight, the dark moonlight. Like a homestead. I know I should probably draw the parentheses so I don't confuse anybody, but it's under cast your cell on the night. Abracadabra, amor unana. Abracadabra, amor de gaga. Abracadabra. In her tongue she said, so, because it's two negatives, it's going to become positive. On the side, and the slice, watch it burn. Hold me in your arms tonight in the magic of the dark moonlight. Sanctified like a poem said by a lady in red, with a haunting dance. Now you're both in. Oh, it's plus. Abracadabra, morunana. Abracadabra, morteugaga. Okay, 0.5 times 7.5, 2.75, negative 0.5 times 3.5, oh, to me, sing for me a sinful melody. We don't really care about the value, we just want to know if it's positive or negative. It's negative. Move along to the next one. See, this is why I told you they take a long time. Abracadabra, morunana. Abracadabra, morteugaga. In her tongue she said, I don't think that can be simplified. It cannot, but it doesn't matter. It is positive. Okay, now we've got all of our, we know if it's positive or negative. So then we look back up at this. We want things that are greater than, so we want everything that is positive. You put your phone on shuffle and it plays the same stuff. Not like I don't like these songs, obviously, but... Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Put you on shuffle so you play stuff I haven't heard in a while, but... Okay, so it is not greater than or equal to, so we don't need to include any values. Strength now. Oh, but it is a fraction, so we have to exclude 6 and 2. But they'll all be excluded anyways. What I mean by that is when you exclude values, you use parentheses, and when you include them, you use, I guess I'll call those brackets. And Telemachus, I fight for us, I fight for us. Okay. That is your big, very long answer. So that is how you do problems like that. Okay, let's see if there's any kind of if you got a question like this where there was like oh, let me see if I can find one. If you had a function that looked like this, what you would do is you would literally just pretend like this is an equal sign and then get 0 on one side. Okay? That's all you would do if there was shit over here. You just want to get it over here because you want it to be 0. Oh, I probably should have drawn a line. Okay, hold on. So that big ass problem we just did, where is it? The answer was far away from home. No. If we were drawing this on a line, because they're going to make you pick lines, they're going to make you pick which ones are right. Please don't make me do this, don't make me do this. Okay, let's do purple. So we have negative infinity to 2. I'm sorry, negative 2. And it's in parentheses, so we'll do that instead of doing this. And then we got 2 to 5. And I didn't make the line long enough. Uh-oh. This is what happens when you do layers. Okay. And you got 6 to infinity. So that is what your line would look like, okay? And the My Math Lab is going to ask you to pick the correct lines. So if you've got parentheses up here, you will also have parentheses on your lines. If you've got brackets up here, you will have brackets on your line. And you just make sure you pick the corresponding sections. That's it, basically. So I'm missing something, I don't think so. Nope, that was homework 1. Homework 2, I guess, let me look at the quiz questions. There was some that were a little confusing. Okay, so there was one, I'm not going to write out the entire thing that it said, but it said, was this number 3? Have I only done 2 questions? I don't know. I can't remember. Oops, wrong brush. have a function. And then there's a long word problem that says you got a roof that's 80 feet high. A ball is thrown up from the ground and it goes straight up, and during what time period what are you afraid of? I swear to God, they write these problems to be like, they never say anything outright, and I swear to God, it's to scare you. Like, looking at this, I saw this question in the homework and I was like, what the fuck? But I will say, I have already taken Intro to Physics. I know that's not what it's called at FIU, but if you're going into engineering or anything that has to do with physics, the questions, basically, they look just like that. Okay, so what does this mean for a math question, though? So, we know that this is going to be an inequality problem because that's literally all we've learned throughout our homework. So, during what time period will the ball's height exceed that of the rooftop? So what does that actually fucking mean? At what point will this be greater than or equal to the height of the ball, which is 80? So essentially all this verbose garbage basically just means this. So then, like I said earlier, when you've got shit on this side, we want it to be equal to 0. So we just subtract 80. And then we do this so we don't forget. Okay. And then we just do what we've been doing. We have to solve for t. So, fortunately for us, you can pull negative 16 out of 30. We can pull negative 16t out. We can factor it out because 16 times 16 is 32. But we want to solve for t, so we're going to have to divide. And what we do on one side, we must do on the other side. So it will be t times t plus 2. But when you divide by a negative, your sign flips. So this is what we have now. We're solving for t. First one's easy. It's t equals 0. You set it equal to 0 to solve for it, so it would have been this. That's all I'm doing. And then now, the answer will say something like, the ball exceeds the height of the roof, excluding the values 0 and negative 2. You know, I wish, like, anything in the videos that she posts, like, has questions that, like these questions, because there was no questions like that in the videos. They show you, like, one example. You pray that they stand close to the microphone so you can hear them. And then you're just supposed to figure it out, I guess. You know, for 5%, I cannot believe my pen is still alive right now. Okay, I know maybe you are afraid because you see a radical. Do not be afraid. All we must know is that we know what's in here because functions are real. They can't be imaginary, so we can't have any imaginary numbers like I, even though it's a fucking letter, but whatever, it's math. So this can't be negative, and it has to be greater than or equal to 0. So that's all we need. Can I actually, let me see. Yes, smart. Use your big brain. Greater than or equal to 0. And then we just, do the normal way we've been doing it. What adds to negative 23 and multiplies to just 28 times 4. Yeah, I know that. Positive 112. Because I've already done this problem, I'm not going to sit here and wonder about it. Or perhaps I will, because it looks like I didn't write the answer down, because I'm a fool. I literally just skipped it. Wow. Cool. Okay, let me see if I can... What's 112? Let's just do 16. Oh my god. Perfect guess. Say what? Wow, that's gonna bother me. Oh god, I'm gonna have to ignore that. Don't forget to add your x's. Okay, we go down. The negative is not closest to the line, so we don't pull it out. The negative is closest to the line, so we pull it out. We go this way. And then we go this way. Pull out that negative. And then we can check by foiling. We have foiled correctly. So now we can move on to our next step, which is solving. And then you just solve. Okay. Seven fourths is technically 1.75. If you want to figure out what it is, like if you want to get the fraction to this, just literally divide 7 by 4. Okay, and then we just do what we've been doing. Oh, whoops. Cause back when I was younger, all of the other youngsters. 0, 2. Plug it into your simplified function that you erased like a fool. double check that that's actually what it was. Yes, okay. So 0 positive 4 times 2 negative 4 times 5 is 20. 20 minus 7 is 13. 5 minus 4 is 1. Positive. Okay, so we've got, what was it, greater than or equal to? Oh, whoops, forgot to do that thing I should have done. Okay, so we'll only be using these. Kill him. But it's greater than or equal to, so we're going to be including our values. Okay, and then if this was on a number line, we've got negative infinity to 7/4, and it is included, so it's in this guy, not parentheses. And then we've got 4 to infinity. So that is what your line would look like. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, basically. So just remember that if it, like with this one, it can't be, oops. With this one, it can't be negative. So that's why it has to be greater than or equal to 0. And then if it was a fraction, the one on the bottom can't be equal to 0, so we would have to exclude. And then, yeah, if you have a hard time with the one about the ball, then you can rewind and watch me do that again, of course. No problem with not getting it the first time. I definitely don't. I always go back and redo the homework and I redo the quiz questions because I like math and it's important in my major. Okay, bye.